Welcome, welcome. My name is Nancy Mueller, and I'm really excited to be here with you today, as well as with Melissa Wilson from Chicago, Nick Lynch from the Sacramento area, and soon to be joining us, Edwin Edebiri from also the Sacramento area. And today you want to stay tuned. You know why? Are you ready? Because today we're going to talk about Discover Happy Networking. A lot of people, when they hear that term or that word networking, they're like, ugh, something just goes ugh, inside of them. But think about it. Networking is not about selling a business or product. It's not about having a business or product sold to you. Networking is about getting out there and creating relationships. Who do you know? Who are you going to meet? How is this going to affect you years down the road? I was just thinking last night about someone that I met years and years ago, just casually. I was at a meeting and she came in and sat down beside me and she started chatting. So I just assumed she was in the same meeting. And after we started talking, I found out she was in the wrong meeting. But we're still friends today. We're still associates. We still help each other in business. So when you close your mind, when you hear that word networking, nope, I don't want to hear it. You are totally turning yourself and every opportunity off. And what could be better than to discover happy networking? I mean, hello, doesn't everyone want to be happy? So I am going to introduce you to two fabulous people right now. And then Edwin's going to join us in a little bit. And please stay tuned and listen to this and share this with your friends. Just say, do you know what these people are doing? Oh my gosh, Nancy's really partying like purple with some people now because look what she's doing. So before we go any farther, Nick, please tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're so fabulous.
Wow. That's a great presumptive question. I appreciate that, Nancy.
Absolutely.
And it's great to be on here. Great to be with Melissa and soon to be Edwin. He has a standing conference that overlapped with this. We sort of pulled all of this together on short notice. I really appreciate your flexibility.
Absolutely.
And I definitely want to put in a plug early for Nancy Mueller because she did what you're seeing right now didn't exist 24 hours ago. And yesterday was a Sunday. So thank you for your flexibility. And you too, Melissa. I love being in business with you. So yeah, my name is Nick Lynch, and I'm the author of two books. One is Get Real and Take Responsibility for What You Want. And the other one is called Discovery Meeting Magic. And so I really like to focus on values-based prioritization and harmony-based connections. I've had a lot of success in the area of making connections over social media through a concept called discovery meetings, which is becoming a more and more popular term. And so far, in the last 6 months, I've had about 300 of these discovery meetings, including with each of you and with Edwin. And that's what led to all of us coming together today. So the reason that I feel really blessed and grateful to be part of this happy tribe that's come together here is I really feel that Edwin and Melissa, my partners in this venture, have the ability and have proven that they have the ability to bring people together in deep, meaningful ways and to infuse happiness, proliferate happiness. I like that word, proliferate. I looked it up and I'm like, yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. To really proliferate happiness and a spirit of goodwill in the business community. And, if the technology works out with us, getting Edwin on, he'll be able to give some really specific, detailed facts and research about the practical value of happiness. Most people know that happiness is a good thing and we'd like to feel that on an emotional level, but he's got the proof with over 40,000 people in his I Am Happy project that it's good practical business sense to be happy as well. So now there's really no reason not to connect in a happy way with each other in a business environment.
I agree, Nick. And I know for me, I love my life. Everyone hears me say that. I love my life. I love my life. And, when I connect with people who are of the same like-minded feelings and thought process, it's amazing. And it's not amazing. Okay, it's not amazing, because what happens is when you are vibrating on that high energy level and you're happy and you love your life, the universe is just going to go, let me bring you some more of this. And when we connected, Nick, I mean, I was just, yeah, tell me more, tell me more. And it's funny because, you know, we start out with, okay, this is going to be a 10-minute call, and it ends up being like an hour, because we're so enjoying what we're talking about and connecting, and we connect on a really meaningful level. And, you know, what's wrong with doing business like that? Absolutely nothing in my book, nothing. So I love what you guys are doing, and we're going to talk more about that, I know, but so thank you for that. Now, Melissa, tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're so fabulous.
Thank you so much. I was enjoying both conversations there, and it got me thinking about the essence of networking. I've been involved with networking since 1989. I started my own company, and it was 87. And in 89, I started working on a first book called the Chicago Entrepreneur Source Book. And back then, I thought, wow, what a great way to get to know people by writing a book and finding out what works in Chicago. Because I think what's called localization now, that term, which is very, very hot, people are realizing that they're not even connecting in their own backyards.
Right.
And you know, we've got the world of opportunity, but it's not an either or world. It's yes and. Yes, I can connect here, and I can connect all over the world. So that took the trajectory of a book that that very first book is, as you said, with Nancy, 15 books about my books, 15 books in 15 years. That was my first book, and it was published with Dearborn Publishing that became Kaplan.
And I'm going to stop you right there, because I want to make sure everybody heard that.
Yeah.
15 books in 15 years. Hello? Again, listeners, are you 15 books in 15 years? I want to just really, that's huge, because you are taking information that you have and you are putting it into book form and you're sharing it. And that is a lot. It's like birthing, giving birth.
It is. As you you know now, but my work now over the last 6 years is to take my networking model I created called Networlding and help 10 to 15 authors a year birth their own books. And authors, I only take on authors who are making a difference in the world in a big way and are collaborative. So to me, they have to be happy, collaborative, and so forth. But going back to the first book, what happened was the book became a top book in Chicago. And I started getting all kinds of requests to partner with the banks, with accounting firms, with law firms. I also have a law degree, which lawyers are the hardest to teach how to network, by the way. I'm a recovering attorney. So I really learned that process. That then what happened was I got housed in an accounting firm for a couple of years, and they had a training arm. And so I got to work with over 300 accounting firms, and they had 300 accountants in their own firm. And I called it watering the flowers. I go around to each one of the attorneys or the accountants every day and say, hey, how are you? And, you know, they tell me what they were doing, and they're all, it will resonate with you, they're all about billable hours, and what's connected to billable hours but networks. And so they had this big database there, and inside the database, and they had a lot of young people there, they'd say, okay, we're going to give you budgets, and it's pretty open budgets, go out and network. Well, what did they get but a lot of people having lots of dinners, lots of lunches, lots of breakfasts, and no fruition from it. Nothing was coming from it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use these people as guinea pigs, and I'm going to create a model for networking that works. And so that was 1989, and it was 1992, because 93 the book came out. Same thing with Dearborn. And it was called Make Your Connections Count. And I couldn't even call it networking because the editor told me, can't call it networking. It sounds like it's too hard. Just, let's call it Make Your Connections Count. I thought that was a funny shift. But that was great because that book started me on the trajectory of writing about relationships and networks. And I ended up getting on the board at the University of Chicago and becoming one of their 6 outstanding women of the decade, even though I didn't go to the University of Chicago. And there I met the woman who I did my 7th book with. I know I created a gap, but in being cognizant about time, when I met Jocelyn, my question to her, and it's a great question to ask somebody when you're networking, so tip, write this one down.
Right.
What's one thing in your career you haven't done that you want to do? Now, if you're at a networking event and you go up and ask the speaker that, and that speaker's an important person, that person's going to go, wow, good question. And Jocelyn said, well, I haven't written a book yet. And I thought, And at that time, I'd moved from Dearborn to McGraw-Hill to the American Management Association to Josie Bass that was owned by Simon & Schuster. And they're out in California, so that's a little commonality. And I said to the senior editor there, Cedric Crocker, when he asked me, hey, what do you want to write next? I said, I would like to do another networking book because I think, here I've been with all these entrepreneurs for 10 years or so. Now I want to work with larger companies. You could bring that information in because you've been all over the place. She was becoming their chief marketing officer. So Jocelyn liked the idea. The editor or the senior editor, acquisitions editor said, I love it. We came out with Networlding in the year 2000. Jocelyn was spinning all over the world with Motorola, and I did pick up a $500,000 contract from them too. I was working on marketing best practices for them around networks, and I ended up partnering with the Chicagoland Chamber, which is the 3rd largest chamber in the country. And because I was a member, I was able to have a room for free at a designated time when it was empty. And I offered the opportunity for people to come through the course at either $50 if they bought the book or $350 to come to the same boot camp, but we'd give them a book. And so at that time, Amazon was showing where books sold in areas and Networlding overall, because there's a ranking,
right.
Overall, and there's a ranking in categories now. But it showed Networlding was number 10 on Amazon in Chicago overall for 12 months, for an entire year. And so that certainly connects to a book marketing strategy if you start connecting the dots. And that was really exciting to me to see how we could really help people. And when I say we, there are all these people who volunteered to help me because they volunteered, we offered them the opportunity to, come at a dramatic discount. So there were all these people who helped, a community being built. We had people from all over the world that had moved to Chicago coming in. We learned to do dances from South America. I had the head of HR for Montgomery Wards before they closed. She came through. The head of Sarah Lee before she left and then went on to Ann Taylor. Wonderful, wonderful people, and had so much fun. And so then from there, I started working with all these corporations and did a book on strategic alliances with the head of internal alliances at Accenture. I used the approach from Ken Blanchard where he partners. So in the spirit of networking, what I say, there are 7 steps to what I call networlding. The 6th step is co-creating, and that's what Nick and I and Edwin are doing. And so the process is one that when you go through it, it works. And it was networlding. The process through the next 10 years was licensed by Motorola and also Yale University for the Graduate School of Business. So it got legs, and the reason that I stuck with it is Jocelyn said to me one night we had that, come to Jesus talk with each other. It's like, what do you really want to do in your life? And I said, what I really want to do? I want to really help people connect. And she said, well, you should stick with networking. And that's what I've done. And that's where all the books came from. And now I help others write books. So that was the genesis of the whole how relationships help others really get to achieve goal achievement in their lives. And so we've helped, when I say we again, I've helped with other people through corporations, probably about 10 top corporations learn the process. And then now I help a lot of not-for-profits and just do a lot with it around community building.
And so what you're doing, if I'm understanding this correctly, is that you're taking the word network, yes, and you're expounding on that net world, because you're, yes, really doing this around the world. And, yes, you, Melissa, and Nick and Edwin have come together, and you are now creating something called Happy Networking. So the basis of that, can you guys share with me? Is it just because it's a bunch of people that are happy and you're coming together? What is the basis? I mean, what was the brainchild of this? What did you guys, and how did you meet? Did you just all come together and say, I'm happy, you're happy, let's be happy in business together? I mean, how did this work?
Well, the idea here, and I know that Edwin's going to come on at some point, but it's, what I loved about it is the blending of people who see the practicality of, and you said it, Nancy, I think very accurately, of having a higher vibration, of looking at their lives, and they have a can-do attitude. Mm-hmm. One book I did that was on Oprah was called 50 Fabulous Places to Raise Your Family. And what I did, because I was the new author on the second edition, is I was to switch out just 10 cities, but talk to the other 40 that were there. So I did trips all over the country, talking to what I call can-do cities. I'd ask people in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, could you send me some information on, boom, I can do that, ma'am, I can do that, and I'll do it tomorrow. I mean, or today, I'll get to you tomorrow. I thought, okay. Bend, Oregon, such wonderful people there. Burlington, Vermont, where you can, go out with the mayor and have lunch with him or her. It was amazing, the shift in that. What I saw, when you look at what's working, you're looking at people who have what would be termed a can-do attitude. So when I heard about Edwin and what Nick does brilliantly, and he's the only one I found in all the years, in the 26 years I've been in business, who brokers the way he does. I mean, he is the guy. He's the man.
All right, Nick.
Yeah, that's Nick. And I told him, he's like, well, I can introduce you to lots of people that would love to work with you. And I'm talking to Edwin, and Edwin's telling me what he does. And I said, interruption here, game over, I'm done. I'm only going to work with Edwin. I said, why? And networking is, the definition is building mutually beneficial relationships, drum roll please, to create transformational opportunities. So that's what matters. It's how do you get to that point where you get what you're here to do, and you get all the friends and happiness at the same time, and they're there for you. They're not, they're not what I call, there are givers, there are takers, and there are exchangers. And so I found through the years, because I have all these exercises that I've done with people and interviews that I've done, that there's so many people who actually have lots of givers in their network. And I'm sure you know Dan Millman from The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. You know him?
Two of my favorite books, yep.
Oh, wonderful. And he wrote a book on axioms once, and he said the one axiom that always holds true is you're only as strong as your weakest link.
It's true.
And absolutely. And when I thought about a happy network, I can't tell you the level of happiness I was at, because I thought, talk about eliminating the weak link, troublesome intersection.
Right.
Because I see it all the time. People work to avoid losing or they work to win. And those proactive, happy people, they're like, you're jumping on a moving train. And
right. Because when you're doing something that you're happy about,
right.
you're then spreading the love, you're spreading the joy, you're spreading the happiness, and you know that there's enough to go around for everyone. And not only that, you guys are really doing a great job of dispelling the myth that work is miserable.
Right.
Because it's over for us to think, okay, you have to go to work, you have to drag yourself out of bed every Monday morning, you look forward to Friday night. There's so many people in this world who wish away an entire week because they don't like where they are. And so the word work is getting to be just a negative connotation. And so I have a saying that I love. I call it, I ask people, so what is your JOB? That's your jump out of bed. And this part of my business, what I do, it's my JOB. Meeting people like you guys that are making a difference and happy, and you're fun to be around and you're fun to have conversations with. I also have a list of what makes the perfect day for me. And one of the things on my list is having uplifting conversations with other people, whether I know them or I just met them. And look, right now, you're making this a perfect day for me because I'm having this uplifting conversation with both of you. And soon, Edward, when he comes on, to talk about how you're spreading happiness around, how you're helping people who are working and building their businesses, entrepreneurs, to be happy in what they're doing and network and just meet other people. And it's like this ripple effect that just keeps it's better than a ripple effect. It's like sound, it's like ding, and it just goes out like this. That's what I see with this group. It's amazing.
Well, speaking of sound, Edwin is on. It looks like his audio is working, but his video is not on. But it looks like he's here with us.
Oh, great. Good. Then we
Edwin, you're looking so beautiful today with that little camera face and the live view. He has his microphone off though.
Yeah, but I think he can control that. I think he'll be able to unmute here in a moment. So yeah, when we see him,
I am on mute now.
Well, you were.
First of all, happy Monday to all of you.
Hi, Edwin. Welcome. I just have to say that I watched your TED Talk and I was blown away by your message. I absolutely love what you're doing. Of course, I downloaded the Happy app right away. When you got to the end of the TED Talk, it's on my phone, the Happy app. So I'm really excited to have you as part of this video. And can you, since you're just now coming in, share with the audience who you are, what you do, and why you're so fabulous?
That's a very loaded introduction already. But first of all, though, I want to say thank you very much. And my tech person was kind of working behind the scene to try to get the video on, but I'm not sure what's going on here with the computer. But I'm happy to be able to participate. First of all, thank you for doing this. I just have a belief that every human being deserves to be happy. Mm-hmm. And that's my motivation. That's my passion. And so every day, that's what I'm thinking. What can I do to help one more person to be happy? What can I do to help them sustain their level of happiness? And just taking it one person at a time. And so far, it's taking its own course. And I'm definitely excited about that. In terms of just meeting with Melissa, I'm telling you, it's kind of like match made in heaven, if you will, okay? Because, I reviewed the material that she has put out, and I look at all the stuff that I've been doing in terms of just spreading happiness, and all I need to do is just sprinkle a little happiness on it, and we are ready to rock and roll, okay?
That's the truth.
And so my whole concept, if you look at the whole happy networking, folks, it's kind of like if we just take the net and spread it around the world, we can increase the level of happiness in this world. So that's why we got to go from what people know, which is networking, to take it to networking. Folks, imagine that if we just add happiness to the different relationship that people have, we can really go. We can increase the level of happiness in the world. Another thing that I believe in this, and I wrote a book in '94 about networking. Mm-hmm. I talk about people who go to networking just thinking about what are they going to get out of it, and that's all they think about. I call those people networking barracudas. Okay, and we got to get away from being a networking barracuda to becoming a networking catalyst. And this is what I call Nick, because Nick is a great connector. It's a catalyst. It can put two people together and create a third and even more powerful relationship. And that's what we are hoping to do with this happy networking environment. The other thing I want to really emphasize is that as I start to get more and more into the whole spreading of happiness, mm-hmm. I start to realize some very simple mistakes that a lot of people make. But we all make it as a culture that we don't even know we are making the mistake, because we are so used to doing it. Mm-hmm. And that is, we somehow believe that if we work really hard and we become successful, that we will automatically be happy.
That's the truth.
And then imagine how many years you work and you become really successful, and then happiness did not come along with it.
Right, because it becomes a mindset that you're so busy waiting for this to happen, what you thought had to happen way back then, all this time, that you don't realize that it's been happening the whole time, and you didn't realize that you've put yourself kind of on hold, and you weren't in it. You were in it, but you didn't realize you were in it. You were telling yourself that you had to wait for something to happen. And most people are already in it. They just don't even realize it. They're just so busy with the minutia of every day that they don't take the time to just stop and go, oh, I have everything I possibly need. And that's what I love that you're sharing, Edwin, because think about it. There are people out there who won't even give themselves the opportunity to ask, what can I do that would be so amazing every single day and make a living at it? And here's someone, you, Edwin, who said, I want to make people happy. Now, how many parents, if their kid came up to you and said, I want to grow up and make people happy, what do you think most parents would say? Well, there's no living in that, son. You better go to college and have something to fall back on. And yeah. Edwin, you're dispelling that myth, and I love that.
Thank you. And that's so powerful what you just said, and that's one of the reasons that I go to schools now, middle schools and high schools, and I teach happiness. Because I want the kids to be able to realize that, hey, there is something about it, and it's the foundation of our life. According to Dalai Lama, he said the purpose of life is to be happy, Wow. And when I attend graduation ceremony, I see very smart kids get academic scholarship, and I get very fast kids get athletic scholarship. And I'm watching for the happy kid, and what do they get? They get a pat on the back.
Right.
I'm like, wait a second, this is backwards, So that's why I want to create the happiness scholarship, so that the folks who are really focused on helping to glue the school together, and these kids, they help. I mean, they are the one that take the new kid in the school and say, hey, let me show you how the locker work, and take them to the locker room, and they are the one that say, hey, wait a second now, why are you doing this guy like that? That's not right. They are the one that really mind everybody's business, because that's who they are. But because the society doesn't really recognize that, and so they are watching everybody else and clapping for everybody else. So we want to change that. We want to give them a bragging right. So when they go to college, they say, hey, what did you get your scholarship for? It was for being happy.
That's an amazing thing to pass on. And you know, something that just came into my mind, a lot of times the children who are the happiest are often the children who don't have a whole lot at home or in their life.
Yes.
And so they may often be overlooked. And those children get to thinking that, oh, because I don't have this, that I don't matter, or that I'm not important, or I'm not as, I don't know, I'm not as sought out as some of the other kids. And I was just thinking about this morning. It's so amazing how synchronistic this conversation is, because one of the things that I wanted to tweet today was about, you know, maybe it's not the fact that you don't fit in. Maybe it's the fact that you're in a place where you're not allowing yourself or giving yourself permission to really shine your light.
Absolutely. In short, Nancy, that is so true, because I've gone to some people and they say, Edwin, what do you do about, how do you spread happiness? And I said, I just remind people to be happy.
Right.
In other words, happiness is already there. They already have everything,
right,
but they are not even thinking about it. And so when I come in and I remind them, and they say, oh, yeah, I have that. Oh, yeah, that's going. And all of a sudden, you see their facial expression changes. They get a little bit taller, and they just get happier. And nothing have really changed, except now they're paying attention to what they were ignoring in the first place. So a lot of my work is just to remind people.
Exactly. And you know what, Edwin, I'm going to just share this. I shared it with Melissa a little bit earlier, but I have this list that I keep on my desk all the time. And this list, everything on this list makes me happy. I wrote a list, and then as I do things and I write it down, and I have this list right beside my desk every single day.
Can you read one or two of those?
Sure. Teaching, coaching, speaking to audiences, my things around me, you know, having the things that, oh, that means a lot to me. I'm so glad to see it hanging there and that I can look at it. The things that I have behind me, sunshine, gardening, going to the beach, writing books, publishing books, meeting new people. My list goes on and on and on. And these are those things that don't cost money. And I think that so many people think material things are what's going to bring them happiness. But when you, like for me, when I'm outside and the sun is just, I feel it on my body and a slight breeze floats across me, I'm like, oh, that makes me really happy. And when you can be in a moment of happiness, you know, regardless of what's going on in your life, there might be challenges, or you can't get this fixed, or you don't have enough money for that. But you know what? There are things that you're overlooking that truly make you happy. And when you look at those things and you say, okay, how many things on my list of happy did I do today? And you're like, wow, I'm happier than I thought I was. And that's what changes the mindset. And that's what this is all about. And I love that you guys are bringing this into the networking portion of what you do. And I know we want to talk about Discover Happy Networking, because you guys have an opportunity that people can just go to discoverhappynetworking.com and click on this free opportunity that you guys are offering to share with people. How do you network? How do you get involved with what you guys are doing? And I want to say that again, discoverhappynetworking.com. You guys need to go check this out and see what these guys are doing, because as you can hear, we've got people from all the way from California to Chicago who are encouraging people to be happy, to love their life, to wake up every morning to their job. That's your jump out of bed. What freaking makes you happy? You know, what makes you want to party like purple? And that's my saying, party like purple. And I love that. You know, when my grandson was about 3 or 4 years old, and he's 17 now, so he loves when I share this story now. You know, he came, we were getting ready to have family night, just pizza and a movie. And I was in the kitchen making pizza dough. And he walked in and he looks up at me and he goes, Grammy, tonight we're going to party like purple. And I had no idea what he was talking about. And I looked down at him, and as it often is, you know, between a parent and a child, or a grandparent and a child, you have this unspoken thought process that goes between you. And it dawned on me what he was talking about. He was happy. He was feeling loved. He was feeling secure. And he was feeling part of something so much bigger than himself. And the only way that his little 4-year-old mind could think to describe it was party like purple. So don't you know that, that is one of the things that I say all the time. People always see me, I'm in purple. I've always got something purple on, and I'm always living my life partying like purple. And this is what you guys are doing. You're spreading this discover happynetworking.com. I encourage people to go there, because if you don't have the opportunity to talk to Melissa or Nick or Edwin one-on-one, get involved with this group. See what they're doing, because it's amazing how they're educating people that you can do business and be happy at the same time. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And I just want to add too, in terms of the happy part, because people might say, oh, I know networking. I go to networking all the time. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, if you've not gone through Melissa's class, and you have not really do networking the way networking is supposed to be done. Okay. So that's number one. Mm-hmm. But number two is this. I know this because I am a student of human nature. Okay. I have been to so many events and I enjoy people. There are a lot of time when people go to events, they are thinking about result all the time, mm-hmm. that they never enjoy the event, okay? Right. They're thinking about, okay, how many business cards can I collect? And what am I going to do with this one? And stuff like that, that they never enjoy it. And one of my saying is that you cannot allow the past or the future to rob you of the present, okay? This is the time that really counts. So what we are doing with happy networking is we are saying, be happy before you start, okay?
Exactly.
Before you go there, be happy already, and not wait and delay your happiness till after you get result from the networking.
Exactly. Oh, Edwin, I love that.
You bring your happy energy into it. Now you're going to attract people. Even folks who ordinarily would not have come to you are going to come to you because of the energy you bring into the table. So that's what I say.
I want to add something to that, Edwin. One of my lines, and I've experienced through the years of teaching people how to build networks, is that the best network that you ever are part of is one that you create. And I think that's a big piece of what we plan to share, because with meetups, you could start your own meetup if you wanted to in your own town with happy networking. And I cannot tell you what a difference it makes when you're the leader and you start it. So we want to share all those insights, the science behind happiness and the science of networking coming together in an artful way around caring and connection, because there's a huge caring element in this. There are some people who are really great at not only being happy about what they're doing, but they are really good at catalyzing, like you said, Edward, and making other people happy. So there's just a lot of information, and our goal is to be authentic, to be transparent, and of course to be happy.
I agree, Melissa, and that was really well said. And there was a time when people were taught how to network. You go to specific groups, and this is how you stand up for 30 seconds and you get to give your elevator pitch. And so people forgot how to just be genuine. They forgot how to just be themselves, how to just be their happy self. And sometimes you go to a networking meeting just to be uplifted. Maybe you're not supposed to be giving anything. Maybe you're just supposed to soak in the atmosphere and just love that you're around like-minded people. Maybe you were feeling low that morning and something said, no, you have to go to this meeting, and you don't know what you're going to get out of it. But when you go with that sense of ooh, I wonder what's going to happen, and that sense of something wonderful is coming my way. And then you meet someone like Edwin who gives you a happy button. And you think, what? And then he reminds you, what are you happy about? You meet someone like me who tells you to party like purple. And you think, what? That lady's off her rocker. I'm going to sit at the other end of the table. Next time, I'm not going to sit by her. But you know what? We love our life. We love what we're doing. We're so happy, and we want to spread this joy and happiness, and we want others to be joyful and happy. And so, you know, when we just keep getting out there and sharing, it's contagious. And this is what we want to go viral. We want happiness to go viral. We want the love of self to go viral. And that can be done when you're networking in a happy environment and in a happy way. And what the three of you have done, how you came together, and you're each using your own expertise with what you do and what you've done for all these years, and you bring it together to create this nirvana. I swear, that's the word that comes to my head. It's amazing. Who wouldn't want to be part of your group? Who wouldn't want to right now go to discoverhappynetworking.com and check out what you guys are doing and be part of it? I mean, I just can't imagine. Well, grumpy people, right?
Yeah, which they you know, those types of people, I guess you just say, we hope that you will come and visit sometime and have the maybe shift in attitude and join us.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that's so amazing is that you don't have to wait for something like this to happen in your own backyard. The internet has made it possible for us to come together. And so you guys have put together this happynetworking.com where people can come from all over the world and be part of what you're doing. Be part of this group. It's better than a group. This movement. I like that better. This movement of what you're doing. And I myself am so honored to even just help you guys share this message and get it out there and let people know that there are ways to do business that leave you feeling satisfied, leave you feeling joyful, leave you feeling happy, and will help you and enable you to stop wishing the work week away because you don't like what you're doing. And when you understand that it's about making connections that absolutely just fill your soul, it's just the best place to be. And I honor each and every one of you.
Thank you. That's so kind.
Thank you very much.
So is there anything that you guys want to add as we're winding down this video and this message with people? Is there anything that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I just want to say that when people come, their expectation should be that they are going to take the information they're going to learn from Melissa, from Nick, from myself, and they're going to be able to apply it for their own individual goal. Mm-hmm. They're going to be able to apply it to grow their own career. They're going to be able to apply it to grow their own business. We're not trying to get them into a business. We want to be able to empower them so that they can take what they learn and they can be able to build network that can empower them, that can grow them, and they can definitely make them happier.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Edwin. And I just want to make sure, can you hear me, Nancy?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure I'm clicking what I'm supposed to be clicking here. Yeah, I agree with that. And I want to emphasize that we're really talking a lot about the spirit of all of this, the importance of deep connections and happiness. And that's vital. And the enthusiasm and the choice to be happy first, not to wait on circumstances for that to come around. I think those are all really important. I also want to make sure that those listening and those registering at discoverhappynetworking.com discoverhappynetworking.com. This is this is like Neapolitan ice cream. Like this is like 3 different flavors all coming together. So we're just working that out. But when you go there to discoverhappynetworking.com for this free training that we're offering, and there are multiple time options there, you're going to get nuts and bolts like actual training on how to make deeper, profitable business connections while proliferating happiness. And Melissa has years of time. All of us have years of time into this. I mean, it's kind of like a little all-star game. You know what I mean? Of just we know how to do this. And in particular, I'm thinking, you know, Melissa has a list just for this reason alone. I think everybody should come. She's got a list of about 10 different things to say to start up a conversation with a stranger at a networking event. I mean, most people are terrified of that. And if they actually make the bold move to walk over and talk to somebody, you know, they want to make sure they say something that's valuable. And so to give you a little bit of that right now, just quickly, you know, a simple question could be, hey, is there anybody else here at this event that you haven't met yet that you're interested in, or anybody in a particular industry? I mean, anybody can say that. The best way to overcome fear in a networking event, and I know what I'm talking about, I do a lot of I'm a connector for a living, is to just love and serve other people, just to try to think in terms of their interests. But you don't have to come up with your own verbiage. Melissa has proven scripts, if you will, or your questions or statements that you can make that work. They've already been proven. You don't even have to think. You just have to show up and listen and learn and benefit from the great training. So we definitely hope to see you there at discoverhappynetworking.com.
And I love that, Nick, because you know what you're doing is you're taking the fear out of connecting to someone you don't know. And, you know, for a lot of people, that's the hardest part, is stepping out of that fear to go up and introduce themselves or to meet new people. So all of you, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview you today and share what you're doing. I know we're going to do a few more of these, and you're going to be sharing some more. So for you that are watching, subscribe to this and watch what these guys are doing, because they are amazing. And for all of you, I honor your journey and what you're doing. Thank you so much. Buona fortuna.
Hey, let's do this before we go. Let's do this.
Cheer.
I'm going to go. Let's do this. Let's go. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha.
Okay. Ho. Ready?
Ho. Yeah, we have to do it together.
Okay. Ready?
Ho, ho,
Ho.
Ha, ha, ha.
Ha.
ho, ho, ho.
Ha.
Ha, ha, ha.
There we go. All right.
All right. Ciao.